Let's take a blast from the past when a normal guy winning in life was actually shown on TV. Hey, it's Christine Grace. Welcome back to my channel. Today's another reaction video. Like the video on your way in. Let's get straight into it. So thank you so much to the person who sent this video to me. I've not seen this before. It's from a channel called Passport OG, which I've not come across before either. So let's check it out together.
You, Miss Corey, but to come here without your parents' permission, that's just wrong.
How can it be wrong, Mom, if she loves me enough to do that? I mean, I'm sorry I didn't do it myself. But I will not be the one who travels 300 miles to be rejected and look like a fool. So if life doesn't want me and Topanga together, then you can't fight life, can you?
Corey.
If you were a young boy in the 1990s, there's no doubt that you're aware of the show Boy Meets World, a show that I've spoken of previously on this channel. For some, the draw of the show was Topanga and her beauty. For others, it was the idea that she could love a regular guy like Corey for who he was, and that they had an innocent kind of love that many of us grew up looking for in the real world. And then there was the simple idea that she was a down-to-earth, and may I not overstate this, modest young lady who underestimated how beautiful she was, and she had to have her beauty reinforced, the kind of young lady that many of us dreamt about.
But I'm not having a baby.
What? You know, Sean was the one that... You were the one that said she couldn't fit into her pants.
Because I'm fat. That's why I went on a diet. Eric and I went on a diet. It's embarrassing to not be the tall one, or the skinny one, or the one with the 8% body fat.
When you consider that this kind of programming was normal for many of us younger Gen Xers when we were growing up, we came out into the world thinking that there were going to be a plethora of Topangas walking around. I mean, you can see what she looks like, and the idea that she's on a television show saying that she doesn't think she's cute, that she thinks she's overweight, she thinks that she doesn't have any curves, and then in the previous video, going to her boyfriend's house 300 miles away that she had been dating all the way through grade school to reaffirm her love for him, we thought, when are we going to get ourselves one of those?
Yeah, but I understand you're going to be showing us your more dangerous side today, right? What are you going to be doing for us?
I'm going to be singing Busta Rhymes' Give Me Some More.
Oh my God, you guys ready?
Men need women more than we need men. Like,
Jeez.
I don't think that anyone realizes that, but it's very true.
No, it's not.
Because we get a lot from our female friendships, you know, we get a lot from our relationships with our moms or whatever it might be, and men get everything from their beloved.
We have to be careful when we intake information and relationship advice, because oftentimes there's an agenda, like I think is happening in this conversation, especially if they're using information from boomers and older Gen Xers who essentially grew up with their versions of Topanga. So in that case, they might be right. But if they're using any kind of data from younger Gen Xers down to millennials and Gen Zs, they don't even really know.
They don't know. They're completely disconnected.
Any Topangas in their life at all. And they're having a very different experience. So the idea of trying to tell men that the best, most stable person in your life is your girlfriend, that's a very small group of guys, and it's getting smaller by the day. And this is an example of why, as men, we have to protect our peace, because there are people moving chess pieces all around us, and it's a war to speak.
Being a black man in America isn't easy. The hunt is on, and you're the prey.
Yeah, baby, well.
I mean, I think just being a man anywhere these days isn't easy. Any kind of man.
What a surprise. Get you something, make a sucker close all of your eyes. I'm getting money capitalized. Down to the small guy, we on the rise.
So what I mean by entertainment industry is music, modeling, and acting. Okay. And being a boss that I am. And like a woman of God.
Who is she?
The stripping is... That's just a 9-to-5 side hustle to me.
What would you say the woman's role in a relationship is?
Just being in her soft, feminine side of her so that the man can just do everything, basically.
So what would you say is the man's role in a relationship?
To take care of her, make her feel safe, to build make her feel loved, make her feel like she's the only girl in the world.
And why did you pop your balloon?
Initially, it was off of the physical attraction. I don't want to waste anyone's time.
Everything I'm about to touch, platinum eyes, fully equipped, you know, we're coming with all the supplies.
I don't have time for that. I will existing.
That is appalling. Absolutely appalling.
Left or right, so
No
yeah,
loyalty up in here.
Is he someone that you're type?
No. He look too old.
Not bad for 53.
Yeah, he look 53.
I'm in love, Angela. I don't mean high school, I love you too. I mean, I am in love with Corey Matthews. And I want to be. There's nobody else in the world for me, and there never will be. I'm taken.
When you hear younger Gen Xers and older millennials rave about the Topanga character from Boy Meets World, it's not because of the way she looks. She's a cute white woman with long hair. It's not because of her posture or her build. It's because of what she represents. Many of us thought that we were going to go into the world, or even in grade school, find our Topanga that was going to be loyal and modest.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we're always talking about, you know, what was represented for women when we were children, but what was also represented for the men. I feel like as women, we often have this idea that, oh, men just watch superhero films and, you know, that's about it. They're not really interested in the love side of the story or anything like that. But I think that's a massive discredit to men's humanity, and to that there are probably a lot of young boys, you know, coming into manhood and, you know, looking to Hollywood, TV, whatever it may be, and thinking, you know, we have this idea as children that perhaps things on TV are somewhat of a reflection of real life, but often they are, except real life is always changing. So what you saw when you were a child on screen probably was a reflection maybe of how things were at the time, but then as you grow older, the world has already changed. So what you expected is not what you get, and it's a lose-lose situation.
And think that she was overweight when she was perfectly built, or just be the kind of person that knew what true love was, and she was going to love you through difficulties, even if you guys are going through something. The kind of girl that would go 300 miles to see her boyfriend in the rain. And what happened to many of us is that we have to mourn our idea of Topanga because it's just not easy to find in this modern world. And so that's why I say for many of us, we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our peace.
And if you want your man to reach his highest potential, spend his money. Because a man with no financial pressure will stay exactly where he is.
Does a guy using an Android phone make him less attractive?
He automatically loses 50 points.
Toss in the big crib, give me some more.
I was like, he's got an Android, so we gotta drop him down to 4.
Oh my gosh. This really destroys my faith in women altogether.
Can a guy be a 10 using an Android?
Oh. You're not gonna have a Samsung.
You met someone that you're attracted to.
Okay.
Pulls out an Android.
This just shows you the level of delusion that we're living in today. I can't understand the response. If someone comes up to me on the street, oh, if a man uses an Android, what was it he said? If a man uses an Android, then he's not, is he still a 10? What? If a man uses an Android, is he still a 10? What's his phone got to do with his attractiveness? That should be it. That should literally be the end of the conversation. What? That is like asking me, he's a 10, but he eats porridge for breakfast. What? What's that got to do with him? He's a 10, but the tree he walks... He's a 10, but the tree he walks past every morning hasn't grown any leaves for like 5 years. So? Like... Oh. That's like me asking a dude, oh, she's a 10, but... something a guy doesn't care about. She's a 10, but she puts her shoes on before putting her trousers on. Okay? Like, it's just... It's so ridiculous. We live not in the real world anymore. We don't live in the real world. Like, even just the logic of the question, she's a 10, but, or he's a 10, but. So it's like, you've already clarified he's a 10. So what does anything else have to do with it? Like, just the logic of the question doesn't even make any sense. So where are these women answering from? What planet are they on? This is insulting to women's intelligence. They are completely doing a disservice to women with half a brain cell.
I'm walking away. You pause in the big crib, give me some more.
As a black man with black women that do have children, I would expect you to want to step in for women who have children. Majority of us black women.
No. You don't expect a man to step in if you have children. No. The father of those children should have done that. If he hasn't, then by all means, try and find a good father figure, but no one is expected to do that. If a generous enough man comes along and is willing to take that on for himself, given all the risks and fully aware of the situation, then that's their situation. But to expect it, why does he not deserve to find his own wife and have his own children? Like, why does he not deserve that? Are you willing to give him more children? Crazy.
Are single mothers. And since we are, and you want to date us potentially, then it would be your role to step in. My children's father.
You pause in the big crib, give me some more.
Okay, y'all, listen to this. Researchers have known for over 20 years which parent is responsible for giving us our fibroids.
What on earth is a fibroid?
Researchers have found that we get our fibroid genes from our fathers. Yes, you got it from your daddy.
What is a fibroid?
You got it from your daddy.
I told them how much Corey meant to me and how I couldn't be away from him. They said I was too young to say things like that I didn't know.
So you ran away from them?
I ran away to Corey.
Romantic love is the biggest propaganda that's ever been sold to women.
Oh, gosh!
This is a script designed by society to make women willingly give up our power, ambitious resources.
What power do you have? What power do you have?
Without even realizing it. So from the very beginning, little girls are fed with the same storyline. You gotta wait for a Prince Charming, 19 shining armors to come save you, pick you. Disney princess set the template. All the princesses are beautiful, delicate, they're picked, chosen, saved by the prince, and they live a happily ever after life. So what's the message here for the young girls? You don't need to take control of your own life. You can just sit there and wait for a guy to come to save you. That's why I think Mulan is the only Disney princess little girls should be learning from, because she's not waiting for a guy. She's fighting her own destiny.
This is a narrative that many of us have heard before, that the Disneyfication of relationships and building families was one that oppressed young women to not be ambitious. Of course,
I'm sorry, but what about the impact that the Disney narrative has on men? Tangled, one of my favorite Disney movies, Disney princesses, because she's the only Disney princess with blonde hair and green eyes. She falls for an absolute tool. Like, he's a criminal. He's literally a criminal. And, you know, like, what is that doing for men? Chris Williamson spoke about this recently. Like, that is selling men the idea that a woman isn't going to fall for you unless you have some kind of bad boy edge. So you want to talk all the time about what it says to women, but what about what it says to men too? So the idea that it's created by men, you know, for men, is just utterly preposterous, because actually the majority of normal guys are also losing because of the effects on women that Disney is teaching. And it's having effects on guys as well. Like, what's that going to do for a guy's self-esteem? Oh, if you've got your life together and you're, you know, considered a Prince Charming, like, girls don't want you. No, they want a criminal that breaks in their window and doesn't have a job and has nothing really going for him. Like, what? Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's so dehumanizing to men. It's like women are the only ones that have any kind of humanity about them.
That can be left to interpretation for people to decide how young ladies have dealt with the Disney princess being rescued by the handsome prince. But Disney ABC also made Boy Meets World, and they showed us Topanga, and they made young men think all you have to do is be a decent guy like Corey, work hard, study, and you're going to meet your Topanga. And instead, we met not Topanga.
So now, is he someone that's your type?
Not at all.
Okay.
If you don't have anything, if you're a man of a certain age and think that you should have nothing, if you haven't accomplished nothing at a certain age in your life, I'm not looking for that. I'm definitely looking for someone who's financially stable, who's able to.
And see, that's fine. That's fine. But it's like, are you willing to stay with that man should it all disappear tomorrow? That's what matters. I completely agree with that. A man by a certain age should have grown up, just as women by a certain age should have grown up. Like, you should know the basics, right? You should have something going for you. I agree with that. And I don't think that's an absurd expectation. But it's like, where are you meeting that? Do you have something going for you? Have you done everything you possibly can to make sure you're the best possible wife? Okay, he's financially stable. He's got his life together. He's fit. He's healthy. He takes care of himself. He has made himself the kind of man that you want as a husband. But what have you done to make yourself the kind of woman to be a good wife? What have you done? And are you willing? Do you have the characteristics that mean that if he did lose it all, are you willing to stand by him and help him rebuild? That's what's important. It's also not even necessarily about financially stable. Well, what do you mean by that? Do you mean actually financially stable, or do you mean a bracket? Because if you're saying financially stable, someone could earn 40k a year and be perfectly financially stable and doing perfectly well for themselves. Or do you mean financially stable with 300k a year? Like, what are you asking for and why? If a person actually cares about financial stability and what that means, it means they care about someone who knows how to implement order in their life, someone who has restraint, someone who has discipline in order to get everything sorted, right? So financially stable is a perfectly okay requirement, but it's like, why are you asking for that requirement? Are you asking for that requirement because you want him to have enough disposable income to spend on you? Or are you asking for that requirement because of what it shows about him as a man?
Enjoy the fruits of our labor at this bar.
There it is. I want to enjoy the fruits of our labor. What do you mean our labor? His labor. You want to enjoy the fruits of it. So you care about what he can buy you. You don't care about what it says about him as a person. You don't care about what it says about his character. You care about what it does for you, which tells me you are completely self-centered and you think that the world should bow to you and give you everything that you so desire instead of actually having to do anything to improve yourself.
Hello? Who am I speaking to right now? I don't even know who I'm talking to. Like, and it's consistently. You're walking outside, you're walking down the street, an average regular man, hey, can I get your number? Why? Like, what about this?
Does she think she's above average?
Situation is making you think that I want to converse with you. Like, I don't know.
How about because it's another human being? Anyone who talks to me, I will speak back. Like, can you imagine the kind of person you have to be that a stranger just starts a conversation with you and you look at them like, I don't want to talk to you. I remember my first experience of a mean girl in secondary school was an interaction just like this. I obviously grew up an only child, so when you're an only child, you kind of have to develop more of an extroverted personality, because if you don't, well, then you're just going to be lonely because you don't have siblings. So when you go on holiday and stuff, like, you don't really have anyone to hang around with unless you go make friends. So you become very forward about things. So I remember it was like one of my first days of secondary school, and I went up to this girl and I was kind of like, hey, like, my name's Christine, what's your name? And she just did this kind of thing, looked at me like, like I wasn't worthy enough to speak to her. And from that moment on, I didn't like this girl. Like, this was secondary school, obviously I have nothing against this girl anymore, like we were children, but that kind of energy is instantly off-putting. And it just tells me that you're the kind of person that doesn't see that we all have innate value and that we are all just manifestations of the same thing. Like, we all cry the same tears, we all shed the same blood. Like, that idea that you are above is just gross to me. It's absolutely disgusting. If someone starts talking to me, like, talk back. You know, just anything. You'll be like paying for something at checkout and, oh, the weather's rubbish today. Like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh, what time do you finish? Like, what's crazy to me as well is that if you limit your world and you are unhappy with the circumstances of your life is never going to change. If you're unhappy with the circumstances of your life, you need to broaden the world. And that means opening yourself up to new experiences, because you never know, right? These women are all talking about being rich. You never know who you get talking to that might just happen to be a gazillionaire, that might just happen to know exactly what you need to do to get your business off the ground, who might just know a suitable partner for you and they want to introduce you. Like, there is so much out there in the world, and there are so many people you pass on an individual basis. You know nothing about them, and that is a mystery. That's so exciting. So if anyone in a world where everyone is too busy being glued to their smartphones takes a moment to look up and look you in the eye and have a real genuine human reaction, that is a blessing in the modern day world. The least you can do is have the graciousness and the courtesy to look them back in the eye and have that small exchange with them. It takes It costs nothing to be kind. It costs absolutely nothing. And there are so many benefits to it. So this woman is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace.
I've never seen you before. Nothing about you caught my eye. Something about me caught your eye. Like, this is not even an equivalent situation. It's so delusional. And they really just expect you to be like, hey, thank you, nah, hey, happy. Like, this is normal. Like, why is this normalized behavior? Like, that's why catcalling gets me so tight. Or like men just speaking to women in the streets in general. Because it's like, what about the context of this situation makes you think that I would be interested in you right now? Like, seriously. That's the delusion. It's like, well, I'm a man. Well, don't you think I'm cute? Don't you like my sneakers? Like, are you 5 years old?
Look, you're the most stunningly beautiful woman I've ever seen. That's why I married you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I love everything about you. And that's never gonna change.
There's no shortage on social media these days of young ladies speaking of the lament that they have that Disney showed them a happily ever after picture with a charming prince that never came to fruition. But often what we don't count for is the vision that was shown to men.
Yeah.
That many young boys of my generation and a generation maybe younger than me thought that there was a topanga out there waiting for them. That all they had to do is be a fundamentally good person and love her with all of his heart, and things were going to magically work out.
And it's so frustrating because it should be that way. It should be that way. It should be the guys who are genuinely good, who have their life together, that get the girls. But they're not. And I can't fathom why, because I know obviously that social media and, you know, what we're seeing on screen is deluding women. But it's like, come on, girls. Like, you have freedom of thought. Like, you have the ability to actually think critically. Like, oh my gosh, you're just ruined.
But what you can see in not just this video, but all of the social media around us is that you as a man going into this world as it is now, thinking that way can also get you very hurt and also used. And so for any gentleman, either at home or going overseas, the most important thing you should be looking for in a young lady is a woman that cares about your peace. She may not be in the form that you're like or what you're used to. She may not look like Topanga, but then again, we didn't like Topanga because of how she looked.
I mean, it helps.
We liked Topanga because of who she was. And she cared about Corey and Corey's peace. And for those of us in this modern world looking for some simulation or some new version of Topanga, we have to keep our mind.
I like what he says as well. She might not be in the form that you expect. Like, she might not be as beautiful as Topanga, but it's who she is on the inside that matters. Like, that's all women claim to want. But yet they're so focused with how they look. So then they become focused with how a guy looks. But the truth is, guys, we're all going to get old. We're all going to sag. We all might go through a spell of being fat. Like, looks fade. And so do people eventually. But for the time that we have here, pick someone that's worth spending some time with. Not just someone that's worth getting jiggy with.
Things open and think that she may indeed be out there, just in a form that we cannot comprehend yet. And so if it involves going overseas or dating different races of young ladies and then having a different mindset for how we deal with her when we're with her, then so be it. But the truth of the matter is there were two sexes, two genders affected by Disney's idea of what the perfect relationship consists of. And we have to mend our hearts and protect our peace as well.
Absolutely. I really like that channel. I think he said a lot of wise things. Go check him out, guys. His name is Passport OG. And I think he's creating some important content because he's a dude speaking to other dudes, and I'm all for that. I like that a lot. Thank you for sending this over to me. I don't really think I have anything else to add for this one. I think he's kind of ticked off all of the points. So I'm going to leave it there and look forward to reading your comments in the comments section below. As always, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to keep up to date with all of my content. If you have a video for me to react to or a story, you can send it over to me at christinegracesmith@outlook.com. And if you'd like to consider donating to the channel, you can do that by clicking the link in the description at buymeacoffee.com or by becoming a member right here on YouTube. And on that note, guys, I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.